Hi, I'm George Rogers. I'm here to share with you another insight into character-based learning. I think you'll find it a valuable one. When I was putting together the book titled Benjamin Franklin's The Art of Virtue, I was interested to note that Dr. Franklin seemed to have consciously developed, several distinct and deliberate ways of processing information that were to prove highly valuable to him throughout his life. For example, when he was a scientist, and as he was in his scientific research, for example, electrocuting a turkey to see if it would taste any better, or striking a whirlwind with a whip to see if he could break it up, or attempting to light a fire to a pond that had an oil slick on it. Now, he didn't understand what the oil slick was all about, but that's what he was trying to do, was to understand why some bodies of water could be lit on fire. As a inventor, for example, in inventing a stove that would be more efficient in heating, or bifocal glasses so people could see better, or a electric rod that would put on houses to prevent houses from catching on fire when struck by electricity. So these were some of the kinds of endeavors he was engaged in. And plus then his efforts in community service and trying to organize a fire department or a library, not to mention his immense contributions in politics, as a diplomat in England and France during those difficult years, or in the Constitutional Convention or the Continental Congress, the invaluable contributions that he made there. Now, in all of these endeavors, Franklin employed these skills in such a way as to give him, and I think of them as thinking skills, in such a way as to give him what I would consider spectacular success. Now, obviously he was a bright man, but he had a way of processing information that greatly added to his capacities. So I wanted to understand what these skills were if I could, and so I tried to identify them, and I identified 7 that I call the 7 C's of thinking clearly. I later developed a couple of books that I call the 7 C's of thinking clearly. These are resource books for parents and teachers containing activities and stories designed to help young people develop their emotional, social, and thinking skills. Now, in the process of developing these books, that's when I came to understand the principle of character-based learning. And so each of these books contains 120 character-based lessons, if you will, designed to help young people develop their emotional, social, and thinking skills, and at the same time help them develop essential virtues such as responsibility, respect, and integrity, and at the same time learn something about math or history or science, or improve their reading skills. These are fun, short, easy to prepare lessons. Now, I want you to stay with me for a minute now while I introduce you to the 7 C skills in answer to insight question number 9. What thinking skills do children need, and why? First, the why. In his book, The Descent of Man, Charles Darwin wrote, "The highest stage of moral culture is when we recognize we ought to control our thoughts. Whatever makes any bad action familiar to the mind renders its performance so much the easier. Obviously, the opposite of this is also true. Whatever makes any good thought familiar to our minds renders its performance so much the easier. Unfortunately, thoughts that uplift, inspire, motivate, and encourage us to be better human beings seem to require greater effort than do contrary thoughts. To acquire this kind of mental and emotional strength requires a sustained and disciplined effort. It doesn't happen accidentally. Conscious choices must be made. One of these choices is the choice to develop 7 specific thinking skills: criticism, creativity, curiosity, communication, concentration, control, and correction. I dare say that few of us have consciously made that choice, and I suspect that most of us are deficient in one or more of these thinking skills. But that doesn't mean that we can't make that choice, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach our children to make that choice. Criticism is the ability to analyze, consider, study, question, compare, and form accurate judgments of value and worth. This skill enables us to consider what makes most sense and determine what best. It helps us to form good judgment in estimating the values of things. Creativity is the ability to imagine, originate, invent, and create new things. When a person needs a new tool or machine, it's up to creativity to invent it. When there's a problem to solve, it's up to creativity to figure out how. Creativity also helps people write beautiful music, great literature, paint pictures, and design buildings. There's very little around us that did not require creativity to bring it into existence. Curiosity is not only the ability, but the desire to wonder, inquire, explore, and seek out new information. Curiosity's job is to find out how things work and why things are the way they are. Curiosity operates by asking lots of questions. Curiosity wants to know who did what and why, how they did it, and where and when. Unfortunately, curiosity can be a two-edged sword. It's a skill that must be used with common sense and good judgment. Those are qualities the Stinkin' Thinkin' Gang certainly wants to deprive us of. Curiosity, along with the skills of criticism and creativity, are dependent on the skill or ability to share ideas. We call this communication. And knowledge through communication is acquired through the processes of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are essential tools of communication. The better people are in using these tools, the better they are able to obtain and share information important to their opportunities in life. Of the four, I personally believe listening is the most important, but all are valuable for making good choices. But there are other ways to learn. Helen Keller was deaf and blind and learned through touch, the invaluable lesson that words have meaning. Many who are neither deaf nor blind have yet to really grasp the importance of this idea. Concentration is the ability to pay close attention and stay on task. Anytime someone wants to learn or do something that requires skill or effort, requires concentration. Almost nothing of any real importance is ever done without concentration. Unfortunately, the ability to concentrate is becoming a lost skill among many youth. It is critical that somehow we help them develop this skill. Control is the ability to govern one's thoughts and feelings. The thinking skill of control has two jobs. First, it helps us to keep our emotions in check. Without mental self-control, the Stinkin' Thinkin' Gang can take control not only of our thoughts, but also of our feelings. When this happens, people say and do things hurtful to themselves and to others. Secondly, control helps us to focus our thoughts so that we can concentrate and accomplish things of importance and not just mentally wander around aimlessly. Finally, we come to the skill of correction, the ability to make necessary changes in one's beliefs and choices and actions in order to improve results. Whenever the Stinkin' Thinkin' Gang throws us off course, it's correction's job to help us get back on track. One of the hardest things for many people to say is, "I was wrong," or "I'm sorry." Since everyone makes mistakes, there is no one I'm aware of who does not have a need for this ability. The 7 C skills are largely available to anyone who wishes to acquire them. Desire and effort are far more important than intellectual capacity. Therefore, it's necessary to help young people understand the importance of acquiring these 7 skills and know how to develop them, and commit to a lifelong process of skill development that will greatly challenge them, but will also take them to otherwise unachievable heights of accomplishment and personal satisfaction. In the next and last video in our series on character-based learning, we'll take a look at what I call the essential virtues. To receive all the videos in this series, go to www.choiceskills.com. I thank you for joining in and look forward now to seeing you on video number 10.